This morning, another heartbroken community is trying to come to grips with the shock of a deadly mass shooting. A gunman killed 6 people Sunday at a Sikh temple in Oak Creek, Wisconsin, before police shot to death the shooter there. Police say Wade Michael Page also wounded 3 others, including the first officer that arrived at the scene. This morning, we're hearing from the mayor of Oak Creek, Steve Scaffidi. Steve, good morning to you.
Good morning.
We're learning more about the shooter at this point. Do we know, if any, what connection he had to the community?
As far as the shooter, he was not from this community. I understand from the federal agents that he was living in a city that's probably about 5 or 6 miles from here.
Do we know why he chose this specific target? Why this temple?
I don't know that, and I don't think the investigations have determined that. Obviously, he targeted a specific group. Why he did that, what his motivations are, I think that's still to be determined.
The first officer that arrived on the scene approached the shooter. That officer ended up being shot 8 to 9 times. Do we know the latest on his condition this morning?
According to the police chief, who I talked with briefly about an hour ago, he is improving. He said he squeezed his hand when he met with him and his family at the hospital. Police Chief Edwards visited there earlier. So that's encouraging, and apparently there's going to be a status update on Brian in the morning.
This tragedy has really shed light on the Sikh community. How big is the community in Oak Creek?
From what I understand, there's somewhere between 300 and 400 families in that temple community. How many live in Oak Creek, we're not really sure. I met with probably 3 dozen family members today, this afternoon, in a private meeting, and I know that some of them do live in Oak Creek because they expressed that they had obviously met me before at community events. So there are a significant number that live here, but many others are close by. There's many suburbs that are within 10 to 15 miles, so many live close by.
And had you seen violence against them before Sunday's shooting?
Absolutely not. They relate some individual stories about personal things that had happened to them, but nothing as far as against their temple, nothing that was reported to the police. Essentially, there was not much of anything in the history. They had lived a peaceful existence, which for that community is not surprising.
But there was a meeting that was scheduled between you, potentially other city officials, and the president of that temple to address violence against Sikh-owned businesses in the area.
Yeah, so that was a future meeting. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, we were. I just found out about that recently. We're going to be looking at some of the things. There really isn't a ton of businesses that they own in our area, so they're somewhat removed. But one of the things we've done as a city is we've been proactive with our worship places of worship for incidents that may happen, and we've worked with a couple of our places.
The city putting together a plan at this point in terms of moving forward. How does it deal with this now?
We're going to set up a liaison between our police department and the temple. We're going to obviously look at the security of that building, improve communication between both departments. We're going to have their leaders speak to our police officials so that we know that we're on the same page and we're communicating effectively about anything that may come up.
Steve Scaffidi, mayor of Oak Creek, Wisconsin, joining us this morning. Steve, appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.